Good morning, church. I love recounting stories. I love seeing how God works in your life when you're, in this case, preaching a series on being a neighbor, being a good neighbor, loving our neighbors. It's funny what God does in your life to prove his point home. Linda and I were out at our Price Chopper the other day. We were out grocery shopping. Sorry, I shouldn't name the store. We were out grocery shopping, and we kept bumping into this lady, and Linda was pushing the cart, and of course the jokes come out. Have you got a license for that thing? And like, oh, I'm getting out of her way. These just funny kibitzing with each other. Having a just someone that you don't know, a stranger. Oh my gosh, she was a stranger, but just having this friendly banter back and forth, and we ended up bumping into each other several times. One time, actually, literally, as we went around the grocery store, but we just couldn't seem to avoid each other. We seemed to be on the same journey, the same path, so to speak, with a complete stranger. And very nice lady, probably several years younger than us. I'd probably say 20 or more years younger than us, with her husband as they were walking around the store doing their shopping. And we seemed to converge on the dairy aisle, specifically in the milk section. And if any of you have been shopping recently, as I'm sure you have, and you've gotten to become uh, accept rather the fact that there isn't always everything on the shelves that there should be, and they always aren't as neat as they should be. Like when the stores go through and the stock clerks go reach and they take the old stock and bring it forward, and so, well, you know the story. So we end up in the milk section, and throughout this day, I'd been sort of like holding my back a bit. My back was really sore. I've been having a problem with my back and my neck, and we got to the milk section, and um, must have been an angel. Because the gentleman, her husband, said, there's red tops, all the way stuck in the back there, meaning whole milk, which is what they were drinking, which we also use. It's whole milk. We never buy anything but whole milk. And so I went, oh, okay. And the lady said, here, let me get that for you. And she reaches down all the way in the back of the milk cooler and grabs a bottle of whole milk and puts it in our cart. And uh, what a neighborly thing to do. Perfect stranger. And she says, yeah, she says, we get a little older, says, and our bodies start bothering us, don't they? I guess she could probably tell I was struggling with my back, and would have been a real issue for me to get down there and do that. And with Linda's balance, I wouldn't have her do it. So without saying a word, just as natural as can be, this lady just reached down and took the gallon of milk and put it in our cart, and of course we said thank you, and we a couple of words, and they left, and I never saw them again. It's as if these were the folks that God was going to use for us to help us in this that we were doing. And if we'd ignored them, or tried to cross the street as the Samaritan and the Levite did, as if we tried to do all of that type of stuff, I would have probably really strained my back more going to get that milk. I mean, friends, it's not about the milk, it's about the action. It's about the good deed. It's about being a good Samaritan. You know, it just is how I told you last week, and I've told you this week. It's how we are wired. I wanted to share that story with you too, because it just seemed that this is what we do. I've done the same thing. On the way into the store, as it turns out, there was the shopping circular all over the ground in the parking lot. It looked awful, and rather than step over it, I bent down, picked it up, crumbled it up, threw it in the garbage. And it's just how things carry forward, and it's just amazing how these things happen in our lives. And this woman was being a good neighbor. So when Mr. Rogers asks us, won't you be my neighbor? Well, that's exactly who this woman was being. And God love her. And she left I want to tell you this. This is the second time this has happened to me in a couple of weeks. She left us saying, have a blessed day. Gee, where do you think she got the idea of being a good neighbor from? Let me think about that for a minute. You know, when the legal expert wanted to test Jesus, and Jesus asked him what the greatest commandments are, and the legal expert looked at him and he says, the Bible says in Luke 10:27, he responded, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your being, with all your strength and with all your mind. and love your neighbor as yourself. There it is again. The legal expert knew this. So Jesus responded to him, "You have answered correctly. Do this, and you will live." Oh my good grief. Oh my. How awesome is that? Jesus tells him that if you do what the two greatest commandments say, you will live. Now what did he mean by this? Well the legal expert, I think it probably escaped him because he needed to prove his point. He needed to prove that he was correct. Not satisfied with Jesus' answer of doing this and you will live. The expert then pressed the point with Jesus, and he asked him, "Who is my neighbor?" To which Jesus answered with the parable, which you know as the story of the Good Samaritan. It's an awesome story, and when the story was ended, the gospel says Jesus asked the expert, "What do you think?" And in his answer to his question, "And who is my neighbor?" What do you think? Which one of these three was a neighbor to the man who encountered him? Of course, talking about the priest and the Levite and the Samaritan. Then the legal expert said, "The one who demonstrated mercy toward him." Jesus now tells him, "Go and do likewise." Luke 10:36-37. The gospel tells us to go and do likewise. That's what that lady did in the grocery store the other day. I'm sure she knew this story, and it's what we do as we go through life. Go and do likewise. So then, as Mr. Rogers asked, and we began this whole series, won't you be my neighbor? Well, won't you? What opportunities might there be in our own community, in your community, to accept his invitation? Look around you. And you probably won't have to look too far to find a need, to reach out and be there, as Holland wrote, for someone to look over their shoulder and find you there to support them, to give them all the love they need, to be able to depend on you, that they might be able to depend on you. Be there. Reach out. Help them. Reach out and pick up the red cap, the whole milk from the bottom cooler. Pick up the garbage that you happen to see at your feet, even if it's not yours. Do those things, do those little things and sometimes big things that make living more comfortable for those around you. Pick up the phone and call someone. Visit someone who might be shut in. Do these things like love your neighbor as you love yourself. Friends, God is calling you to be a good neighbor in his world. And oh, how he loves you. And so do I. And we'll see you Sunday morning at 9 o'clock for our live stream worship. And I will see you again next week. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed day tomorrow. And God bless you and stay safe and stay healthy. Goodbye.